Hey everyone, this is Tommy Littlefield. This is the second part of my technology project where I'll be going through the actual tutorial to make the currency converter and time zone conversion program. So first you're going to want to open up your IDE, Spider in my case. Get that going. Uh, if you want to do this on your own after watching, you can use any of those files I provided, the currency exchange rates and stuff, and pull up that and make the dictionary yourself, or you can just follow along. Obviously, the rates I'm going to be using and typing in will be the same ones we'll use. I'm going to have my actual finished program up in the back just in case I need to reference it while I'm doing this tutorial. But I guess to go ahead and get started, click New File. You can also go to File, open a new file, and get an untitled new project going. So first things first, let's save it and get it a save location so we have it saving somewhere. I'm going to name mine tutorial video version. That's just for my own naming convention, so I don't get it mixed up with my actual final project or term project. And yeah, then you're going to save it, and that'll give you a file to everything that can be saved under it, so you can kind of save as you go. Make sure you aren't losing any progress in case something happens. Alrighty, so we're going to start with the time functions. So first we're going to have to import our Python TimeZone functions, which we're going to use with our get our import statements out of the way. So we're going to start with import pytz, and that'll import the Olsen time zones database into Python. And then we're going to say from date time import date time. Also need this to do our date time features later for the time zone, which will go right after these import statements. And then our last statement is from pytz import time zone. So this will import all the time zone features. These three statements will get us all the import statements we need for any part of this program to get done what it needs to get done. All right, so once we have all that done, we're going to start with the time zone features. So start with the def. I literally named my function time zone feature. Obviously, if you're familiar with Python, you can name it however your preferred naming convention is to make this easy for you to understand what's going on and mess with. Okay. And we're going to say print. The supported time zones are comma, and then here you're going to do your first call on those functions from earlier. So pytz.all underscore time zones. So this right here, this will basically makes all the different time zones print out, and so it'll list every compatible choice that the user has to make a choice with. Print. And then this is just a statement to let the user know kind of what's going on in the program. So the supported time zones. Okay, so this first line is going to print above this list, and the second one is below the list. That's just so as you're scrolling through it, no matter what, you're probably going to see one of these statements. as you run the program and know kind of that's what that list is. It's the supported time zones. All right. So now we're going to do UTSA time. So this is setting a variable that will read us the time in San Antonio, basically. So U.S. Central Time, our time. So this will give us that date time and save it to UTSA time so we can call on it and see what time it is currently. So date time dot now, and then open parentheses, time zone, another open parentheses, and then capital U, capital S, slash, capital C, ENTRAL. Uh, if you type that in all right, that should make that variable equal the U.S. Central Time, which is our time here in San Antonio by UTSA. Next, we're going to set our UTC, which is no, not that. This is our universal time. Basically, this is the universal time, coordinated time. That's what it is, universal coordinated time. So this is the time that all these time zones are technically based off of. And so when you're doing the plus 4 hours, minus 5 hours, all that stuff, it's based off UTC time to figure out like the equation to figure out this math. And so we're going to print that time out too for our user. So date time dot now time zone capital UTC. And then that'll, like I said, make that universal coordinated time set to the UTC variable. Next, we're going to print out these. So print new line, the coordinated universal time for UTC is UTC, and that should be printing the UTC, and then we go down here and print new line, the current time in San Antonio, Texas is comma UTSA. All right, so that should be getting our UTC time and our UTSA time out to our user. So next, we're going to get to actually getting the user to select what they need and get a time zone conversion. So I'm going to make a variable called time zone select, and this is going to equal input new line. Please enter your selection exactly as seen on the list of options. Quick check to make sure that's what I have over here. Oh, that's right, I have my full statement. So So on this function, capitalization, spacing, and symbols must all match. Okay, so this is just letting the user know that they have to be very precise with how they enter on this function because it's very picky on making sure that the name's exactly as it needs it uh, to, to work the time zone functions. Okay, so next we got converted time. So this is obviously going to be a variable for our converted time. Uh, this is going to equal date time dot now. Oh, excuse me. Uh, date time dot now, time zone, and then another parentheses, and then we're going to use our variable here, time zone select. Okay, and this will make and set the variable, so it's going to use that input that you did, and it's going to enter it in there, and it'll enter basically the same function that we have up top in these areas, and it's going to just use your variable to enter the area that it needs to read the time from, and that'll give you your time zone in that area, the date, and all that cool stuff. All right, and then but to do that, we need to make a print statement, obviously. So we're going to print new line, you selected, comma, time zone select to print off what they picked, and then another comma, the time and date is new line. All right, and then that statement right there should give you your statement with your time zone selected, so you can see again which time zone you're on, and then your converted time in that area. Uh, Next, so that'll be the end of that function. Put a nice little mark right there so we know that. And then get on to the next. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and get our dictionary and then our conversion features functions programmed in. Uh, so we're going to start with a dictionary called currency exchange. And this is going to equal. So this is like what I was saying with the list of conversion amounts that I have a link to the reference. It just gives you a list of all these different countries and there are different denominations and there are different currency prices. Dictionaries are super simple. Uh, you can see. I'm just going to copy and paste this in because this is going to eat a lot of my time in if I type these in one by one. So I'm gonna go ahead and actually I'm just gonna delete this and I'll just explain it so y'all know what y'all are looking at and y'all can replicate it. Okay. So we're going to take this dictionary, we're going to copy it, and then we're going to paste it. All right. So currency exchange, that'll be the name of our dictionary that we're making. Equal, obviously set it to this, and then you're going to want to use these curly brackets. That starts your dictionary. Uh, and then you're just going to go down the list and, yeah, obviously type in. You don't have to make it super nice and neat like this. I just like to do this to make it look nice and easy to read. Uh, but yeah, you're just going to type in a name, make sure it's in quotes, and then you're just going to type in the conversion rate after a colon. and make sure you add a comma after. Uh, basically just as long as you have this typed the same way I do, it should give you your dictionary. Uh, and yeah, it's not too hard. Like I said, you just need to do the quotes on the left side, and then a colon, and then the number, and then a comma, and keep going down until you're done. And then once you're done, slap on the end of that bracket if you don't have it on there already, and you should be good to go on the dictionary. All right, we're going to get into our currency conversion. So we're again. Let me get some entries down here so I can just kind of work where y'all can see easier. All right, so we got our dictionary done. If y'all need to take another look at it, I'll scroll through it slow so y'all can kind of see it. Pause it, obviously, to copy this information as you need to. So here's the first part of our dictionary, and then here's the last part of our dictionary. All right, y'all should have been able to pause it and use that, hopefully, to get that programmed in. So next we're going to do define currency conversion. And this is going to be our currency conversion features, the function for it. So this will be like all our ability to actually like go in and like put in an amount of US dollar and get a conversion of how much money that would be in whatever denomination you pick. So first, let's set some variables. So I did currency dict here. I don't want to pass in my dictionary if I don't have to. Uh, just cause it's how I was taught to program, I guess, and I like to copy it in the currency dictionary, at least in this case, uh, into the program, into the function, so it has like its own access to it without deleting the other one or modifying it. So exchange equals yes. So this is setting a variable that just kind of assigns. This is kind of how I do my loops later. My while loops to kind of keep the program going. So if you make an invalid selection instead of it like basically bugging out the program, uh, it'll use it'll just kind of keep looping through depending on your choices, and it can decide when like you as the user can decide when you want to quit using this specific function. So rate 0.0 new currency 0 and money amount equals 0.0. Okay, so again, these are just variables I'm just presetting. As it loops through, it'll reset those amounts and make sure we're not getting any carryover from a previous loop of the program. We're going to start with our while loop. So while new exchange lower, this lets you enter any kind of yes, and as long as you have yes, it's going to be able to get the user input and keep the loop going if you want to. So do that, and then we're gonna do equals equals. Yes. All right, and then that. Sorry, guys. Then that should be the start of our while loop. That should get our while loop started. So then the same exchange equals yes. So again, it doesn't really matter if you capitalize this because either way, when it's running the new this new exchange up here, it's gonna just read it as lowercase no matter what. I'm just typing that in again just for my own sake, my own neatness. So this is the second loop that'll be in there. If you want to continue the same exchange, same concept as the new exchange. Yes, it's going to be used as a while loop later to keep the loop going or end the loop as the user wants. So money amount equals float input. All right, so this is going to take our user's input on the amount of money, amount of US dollars they'd like to enter, and it's going to put it into the money amount. And so let's see here. I'm just going to start copy and pasting my text just to go a little faster here because I'm already at 20 minutes. Thought this would go a little faster. All right. So I put in there, please enter the amount of US dollars you would like to convert to another currency and then press enter. This will give me what I need to take the user's input. It tells the user what they need to input and then uses that for the conversion. All right, so this is the money amount in US dollars. This is just printing off these for the user to see how much they entered. Next we got print. Here is a list. All right. So there's that's just a statement saying that you're going to print a list. Here's our second while statement. So while exchange lower. Currency. All right, so this is starting your second while loop for like basically if you want to stay on the same exchange, you'll get that at the end of the function. Uh, and then this for currency in currency dict print currency. That's just going to print your key of the dictionary. So it's going to be all these green names, all the names of the different denominations, and it's just going to print that off in a nice list for you, so you can the user can read that and know which currencies they have to select from. We're going to do print. Actually, I'm going to copy and paste that. Just again for the sake of time right here, just because these are just print statements. Okay, so this is going to print the above is a list of currencies again, just letting the user know what's going on. And then this is when entering the chosen currencies, please do so as seen on the list provided, ensuring capitalization and spacing is correct. Because again, this is hard to kind of do a simple test for, like this yes, because all the spacing, the different capitalization, it's a little harder to get like oh, this is inaccurate, it's not on the list, try again. And so this is taking their input for which currency choice they do want to take. And then, sorry guys, I'm going to have to, I can't type this all because I'm already at 25 minutes and I'm definitely running out of time. So I'm just going to have to show you all this stuff and explain it because I'm definitely not going to have as much time as I thought. All right. So that should take me all the way down. Done. All right, so let me explain what's going on here. So we were at currency choice input, so that's taking your input. And then, oh, oops. This one's the same exchange. My apologies. This should be same exchange, not new exchange. And this is looping that up to yes. Okay. All right, now we're good to go. So this is what your whole currency function, the currency conversion function should look like after you're done. So make sure if you have this more or less, word for word, at least all the print and the whiles and the for statements, you should be good to go. We were at the input. So this is the exchange rate. This is using a get function and your currency choice to pull the actual value that you need, the value it's assigned to the key. And then new currency amount is going to equal round. I had it round to three places, up to three places, and it's going to take your money amount times your exchange rate, and that'll give you whatever your new amount is, which is going to print down here in this print statement. It's going to say, here's your currency choice. So if you pick Turkish lira, it'll say, hey, this is Turkish. You pick Turkish lira, the amount you get for that, and the amount of US dollars you entered, which it'll read out, is this. And then it'll give you your new currency amount. Then it'll ask, would you like to make another currency exchange using the same amount of money in US dollars? This is taking that input. If you say yes, it'll literally loop you right here and it'll just print off that list again. You can pick from the list and then you can see what that same amount would be in a different amount of money. If you click no, it'll take you to the next question, which is if you would like to do another conversion in general. So this will take you all the way to the top of this loop. And you can basically, it'll set all your variables back and it'll restart the loop so you can decide whether you want to do a whole new exchange with a different amount of US money. If you click no, it'll print this, the thank you for using our currency exchange function, and then it'll go off into the main menu, which we will make here in a minute. All right, so that's the end of this function. All right, and our last function here, again, sorry, I'm going to have to copy and paste, and I can't code this line by line with y'all. Hopefully y'all are able to do this. If y'all have any questions, obviously just ask them on my video post, and I can answer them and hopefully help y'all out if y'all are struggling on anything. So our third and last, and arguably easiest definition is just basically a way to change the dictionary. So if you know of a currency that for whatever reason doesn't exist already on the list, or you just want to make up a new currency and see what it would do, either way, you can look up that rate, and then this lets the user basically, you're asking if you want a new entry using that same while loop of the yes, and then it's asking you to input the name of your new currency. The new rate is, again, a float value because you want to make sure that's saving as a float, not a string, so you need the float there for the math later. And then so that takes your new currency type, that takes your new rate, and then this is saving into the actual currency exchange, our actual dictionary that we programmed, the new currency type and the new rate, and then asking you if you want to do another currency after that. And again, you can press yes to enter another new currency as many times as you want, or enter no, and it'll kick you back to this main menu that we're going to be making here now that all our functions are done. Alrighty, so last part here. That's my time function. So yeah, we're gonna want this. So this is all our menu for running all these different functions into something actually like an interface. So again, end function. So, like I said, this is going to be the program for actually like making a menu to select like these different functions and make them work and make them run and make them do stuff. As you can see, it looks like I did everything right. I don't got any flags running, so hopefully when we do a little walkthrough real quick, y'all will be able to kind of see how it works and how it should be working for y'all. So we're going to start with welcome, how may I assist you? Just a little print statement. And then I can perform currency calculations and time zone changes for current date and time. This is the exit condition, so this is just how we're exiting the program. Same thing as those, basically it's the same like theory and idea as these while statements, for the yes while statements. But this is basically going to exit the whole function, the whole program. So while we're not in exit one, so this is our while statement to keep running until we tell it not to. You're going to have your menu selection is set to 0 just because that's not one of our choices, so that'll make sure it's not automatically plugging in to do something. It's going to print this, just a little header, just kind of a little separation to kind of give you some separation between iterations. And it's going to say, here's your choices. So 1, currency exchange, 2, time zone changes, 3, exit program. Menu selection is going to equal the input, so whatever the user puts, 1, 2, 3, whatever. If you enter the wrong one, I do have a statement that I have in there that'll say invalid choice. It'll kick you back because you're still not in the exit condition, so it'll kick you back to this and give you the menu choices to try again. You have your first if statement, so this is for menu selection equals 1. These ones are strings and not integers, so make sure you're saving them as strings. That helps it, like, basically, so that way it's like if it gets denied, it won't just be letters. Like if somebody types in a Y or an N for some reason to try to answer what menu selection they want, it'll tell them like, hey, this is invalid. You can't do that. I like it. It's a way, it looks a little neater, and it doesn't just kick you out of the program for accidentally entering something wrong. And this is a second while to keep this going. Basically just keeps this loop of currency functions going as long as you want to be in the currency section of this menu, and won't kick you back out to this initial menu unless you want to. So again, just some print statements, our different choices of what we can do. All these are pretty simple, just little print statements. This is another input for our currency exchange menu selection. So this is just how you select one of these options. And then here we get down to how we're actually running our functions. So this is pretty important to get right. So you have your if statement for currency exchange menu selection. That's what all these are going to equal, and then your different choices that you can enter. Obviously, choice 1 is your currency conversion. So that's running this function. That's running this function that we made up here. This currency conversion. So that's running that function. It's getting us into this, and we can do all those features. 2 is doing the same thing with that currency dictionary change. So this is how we're changing the dictionary if we want to. And then 3 is our exit. It's going to exit it out and restart it. And then, like I said, if you make any other selection other than 1, 2, or 3, it will tell you invalid selection, and it'll run this loop again and say, please try again. And if you click 3, it will do the exit 2 to true, which will make it exit this scenario, reset it to false, and then bring you back to this area. All right, and then we have our time functions. So that's our second else if. So we got menu one selection, and then so if you equal 2 on this very initial menu, if you're equaling this 2, then it'll take you to TimeZone functions. Basic, same thing again. The menu all very repetitive. You're really just trying to call in your different functions. So again, we have this to keep us in this loop until we're ready to done a border to kind of separate your different menu choices and know it's like your different iterations through the loops. Your print options again for the options you can select, and then your time zone menu selection for the actual input of like what feature the time zone, what time zone features the user wants to use. And then here's our 1 to actually run our time zone function, and then 2 to exit this and go back to that main menu, and then our, again, else statement to repeat this loop in case somebody makes an invalid selection. And then lastly, we got menu selection 3, which is the main menu, and this is the where we exit this program, and then it's going to tell you, so I hope I provided adequate assistance, hope you have a great day. And then again, like I said, the else for any invalid selections made to please try again. And so instead of getting an error and looping you out of the program, it will tell you to just try again. You won't have to deal with having to clear your kernel and restart everything. All right, so we're going to save this. Should have been saving through, obviously, I hope, as you're doing it more than I did. I definitely wasn't great about that. But we got a few more minutes before I hit 40 minutes, so we're just going to run this real quick to kind of see what it does. So we're going to extend this. Y'all can kind of see it better. And I'm going to close this up. And then we're going to run this. Okay, so as you can see, welcome, how may I assist you today? I can perform your currency exchange calculations and time zone changes for current date and time. Our options, and then it says to please input a number. So as you can see, let's just type in random stuff. So whatever, I didn't type in the right thing. As it was told, it's invalid selection made, please try again. And so then we can try again. Let's do actual 1 this time. So 1 will bring us to currency selection. Let's do a US dollar amount, and it says please enter an amount. So I can do 566.39. Okay, and then it'll show me my list. So let's go Libyan dinar. And I can type that in, and then it'll give me the amount of Libyan dinar you get for $566.39 in US dollars is 2,723.506. And it asks me if I would like to make another exchange. I'm going to enter. You don't have to enter no. This one, literally, as long as you don't enter yes, it'll go off. So I could just press enter, and it would do that. And like this one, I could also press no when it asks me if I'd like to make another conversion. So I can click no, and it'll take me back all the way to this original menu, and I can do, again, 2 to get into a whole new conversion, which would have been that yes, or now I can go in and I can add in a function. I'm going to actually click 3 to exit, and this will bring us to our main menu. And so now, I could do 2 for time zone. I can go display my time zone stuff if I want. And so here's our list of time zones. As I said, they're very picky on the spelling. So like when you do this, you need to be exactly as they're done. So I don't know. Let's just try GMT 0, just because it's easy to type on this. And ooh, that did not work. Let's try that again. So again, it says our UTC time, our San Antonio, Texas time. Let's try Japan then. Is it because I did a space? Was that on me? There we go. Okay, yeah. So that was on me. I think I put that space in there, and that, like I said, it's very picky. The spacing has to be exactly right. I didn't do it on this version of it, obviously, but I did have a space on there in my original program. So I would maybe try to get a spacing in between that period, just if y'all wanted a little neater when you're doing. And again, then it'll bring me back to this menu. I can select no, and then exit, and then again exit, and then yeah, tell me have a great day. Hope it provided assistance. All right, guys, I'm out of time. I hope this answered all your questions and kind of showed you how to do this. And if you need any help, just let me know.